everybody, Goosebumps for Dummies here, and today I'm going to be reviewing More Monster Blood, the TV episode from the 90s Goosebumps show. This originally aired in November of 1996 and was a Season 2 release, and is not based off any Goosebumps book. Yeah, this is a completely original TV episode that is one of two. The only other one is the iconic trilogy with Carl Nav and whatever the town was, Carlsville, sorry. Yeah, this is one of the only ones that is just straight up completely original to the show. It's not sharing a name, like an in-name only adaptation like Haunted Mass 2 and some tale stories that have been adapted. No, this is just a straight up TV exclusive Goosebumps story and title. It is extremely weird when this happens, and it's only happened twice. I would have loved to see more, but here we are reviewing the first one of the two. We'll probably review the other one as one of the last episodes I ever review, probably. It's a banger, so keep that in mind. More Monster Blood takes Monster Blood and puts it on a plane, and this actually directly follows up Monster Blood 1. And if you're wondering why I didn't review these back to back, if not in one video, Monster Blood and More Monster Blood, as I've already reviewed the first one back in January, the episode. I don't feel they kind of work that way, since it's not labeled Monster Blood Part 1 and Monster Blood Part 2. I think it was not intended to be as a two-part, especially since, I mean, it would be a worthy one for Stine's Open, if anything, too, if it were intended to be a two-part / special edition. I don't think it's really meant to be looked at that way, so I personally just don't either way. But yeah, and before I even go into this, I want to prelude this episode by saying there's an actor in here that's not even credited. Mark Benish, who plays Curtis, not Kermit. I used to think it was Kermit. Little lore there. But no, Curtis, who is the guy in the little kid in glasses. I don't know why he's not credited in the credits of this episode, but he isn't. I don't know why. It's really stupid, since he is like the main character, and that's what's really picking me off right now. It's pretty stupid. Without further ado, read the blurb, boy. Flying to meet his parents in Atlanta, Evan thinks he's finally rid of Monster Blood until he discovers the slimy stuff aboard his plane. Thank you, Alejandro. And to give my thoughts on this episode real briefly, I really like it. I give it the slight edge over the first one, as I think it is really damn good. So, the reasons why, as follows, starting with positives now. Well, let's get the basic ones out of the way. Cinematography and soundtrack. I think the soundtrack and cinematography are both very standard for the series. Nothing subpar, nothing standout-ish. I think they did as much as they could with the camera work for being in a plane the whole episode. I don't know if this was like a rented plane or a set they made, which obviously they probably just rented a plane. But they did what they could, and I really appreciated it. And same with the soundtrack, Jack Lenz. It's not his best work, but it's some good work nonetheless. Nothing standout-ish once more. And something else that I don't feel too strongly on is the CGI. However, I do enjoy it. I think the CGI effects, whatever you want to call them this episode, are admirable for what they are. For whatever budget they had, which especially since they had to buy out a plane to film in, it's pretty good. The Monster Blood effects, I don't think they look too bad. They look a little bit better, I'd say, than most or some shots in the first episode, which might be a slight edge, I guess. I don't know. I think they look decent for what they are. Surprisingly not bad for how much they actually do them. So I appreciate that a lot, that they're actually not too bad and they didn't get outdated too much. They still stand up for what they are. And now to address the elephant in the room, that isn't me, and this Hello Kitty shirt. The setting of a plane for a Monster Blood story. I've already said it, but it is truly something magnificent. Yeah, this is a humongous upside and one of the best I've ever given out. The showrunners, show writers, whatever, whoever did this one, whoever decided, hey, let's do a Monster Blood original story and put it on a goddamn plane. Adopt me, because you're a genius. Seriously, this is a fantastic, really damn good idea for a Goosebumps story, let alone a Monster Blood story. It's one of the only plane stories in the entire franchise, if not the only that I can think of. The only other plane story I can think of in kids' horror, actually, is a Haunting Hour episode, but it's controversial anyways. I think it had something to do with, like, a fly monster. I can't really tell. Yeah, doing it with Monster Blood, it's really something I appreciate, and the fact that again, in its Monster Blood, creates a unique claustrophobic setting where you can't really escape this thing, right? You're trapped thousands of feet up in the air. I believe they even name dropped like 37,000. And this thing is in the plane of you, slowly creeping towards you. You're cornered. It's terrifying, uniquely so. Not the scariest thing ever, obviously, it's a kid's show, but seriously, for what it is, it's pretty damn unique and disturbing in its own claustrophobic-esque way. Really like it. This is a fantastic idea, period. And then you have Conan and Curtis. Those characters are something, right? Conan in the books, to compare a little here, which I guess is a slight bias, Conan in the books is terrible. It's not just because he's a terrible person. He has no redeeming factors where he gets karma or changes. He's just not fun to read about. He sucks. But in the episode here, he does kind of start out as such, like a, dipshit, and even point out that fact. But Conan becomes an enjoyable character with a notable sacrifice by the end of the episode to help the Rue. And I think that's great. It really adds something to his very flat character from the books and makes you kind of like him, and even the characters like him by the end. It's something of a character arc. So it's really enjoyable in that regard. And same with Curtis. He kind of almost acts as a foil in a way, but they both end up in the same place. Curtis has a vindication by the end of the episode where he helps the main group get rid of the monster blood. In fact, he's kind of the brain of the whole scheme by the end. Again, he's one of the main characters, if not the main character for this one. He's like the Andy of this episode, as she was in the first one. But he starts off kind of as a wimp instead of a jock, an asshole. And I think that's really interesting to have two character arcs in a Monster Blood story that is completely original to the TV show, also being one of the best ideas I've ever seen for a Goosebumps story ever. That's a mouthful. Seriously, this is just some generational Goosebumps stuff in this episode. Character arcs and a fantastic Monster Blood story that just isn't in a neighborhood or somewhere of the sort, for once. Thank you. And the ending is great too. No notes there. It's very fun. The actors Abby Brown and Kyle Labine, which play Julia and Evan in this episode, don't do a great job. We're in downsides now, by the way. I just didn't really enjoy their screen time here, and I think some of it's pretty cheesy, if not stiff rough. And that's saying something, especially for Kyle Labine, because he was in the first Monster Blood episode, because he's he's the main character. So it's kind of stark to see that mild downgrade in actor performance. Very odd. And I think what I really noticed this time around is that the first half of this episode is not favorable, besides the mood building and the character work, in terms of pacing. I think it's very rushed. I wish the first 12 to 13 minutes of this, or even 14, were really hyper-focused on building the thread of Monster Blood, slowly but surely, instead of rushing Monster Blood through these quick scare scenes with him, eating people and stuff. I just wish it was a bit better paced in favor of a slightly shorter climax that still gets the point across. It's still a great episode at the end of the day. I just think things could have been paced out a bit better. And now to rate this sucker. I'm going to give Monster Blood 2, or More Monster Blood, or Monster Blood on the Plane, whatever you call it, More Monster Blood a 9 out of 10. I think it's on par with the first episode, and I would slightly give it the better alternative. I'd say it's better than the first. And on the fright meter, I would give it a 3. Simple as that. It's pretty scary with the claustrophobic, you can't escape this thing setting unless you're suicidal when you jump out the plane. Very interesting. I really like that, even if, it's not the scariest thing ever, of course. This is just for funzos. And Strunky approved. No duh in this case. Thank you guys for watching this episode review. Tell me what you think about More Monster Blood down below. I would have loved to see Presents book of this. That would have been legendary. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.